Okay, hey, that works. Cool. Go live. Now is the question of what it says I'm live. That's cool. Except it also says an error occurred. Please try again later. That's not cool. What do I even look like right now? I should probably refresh the stream so I can see what I look like. And I'll see if people show up. And then if they don't show up, then I don't know. Why is it saying an error occurred? And please try again later. Alright, 7 people. That's better than nothing. 10. And I should probably also share this on Twitter, I guess. Where's the share button? Oh, hey, it does work. Yay, people are seeing me. Alright, anyway, cool. So people who are showing up, tell me if you can see me and hear me right and everything seems okay. Because that's what this is really for in the first place. It's an internet test. And in the meantime, I'm going to go around and try and share this on Twitter. Wherever the share button is. Okay, no, you've got the error occurred. Please try. That's very weird. I have no idea why that's happening. Ugh. Come on. Okay, alright, cool. Cool. It actually is working. So, now I need to just share this stuff. I'm sorry, it's been a very long time since I've really done a live stream like this, so I'm probably going to be a little bit awkward for a bit because, like I said, it's been a while. I can't even remember what to do, and it's got a new layout. I don't even know where. Oh, there's the share button, right? Twitter. Does that go to my Twitter? All right, it says that that's shared onto Twitter. Cool. Yes. Okay. No. All right. Awesome. Anyway, Lord Bloodraven, no, I cannot see you because you are not, you're just typing text. I don't know if you can really say you can see text. Anyway, okay, so now that there's probably enough people here, I could actually explain. So basically, I guess first of all, everyone, hello, my name's Gabby. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, it's for a few reasons. Basically, there's basically been a lot of stuff which I've been watching lately and whatever. I'm trying to start maybe make some videos or something, but in the meantime also doing maybe live streams might be an idea. But the thing is, recently our internet kind of got changed over. If you guys live in Australia, if you guys will understand, we got the NBN, and basically ever since we got the NBN, the internet's been quite unreliable. It sometimes keeps cutting in and out, and when that happens, it basically just meant like if my internet's all unreliable, can I even live stream? Is it just gonna like stop in the middle of it? Because obviously that would really suck. So basically, I'm just doing this now, first of all, to see if the internet's working, also to say hello, also to do whatever. I found apparently Game of Thrones finales happening like in just a bit over an hour, so I decided I might as well do it now earlier instead of like after Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones starts about 11 o'clock my time. Then I'm going to be probably hungry. Then I've got something I need to do at 2 o'clock. So, it kind of works out anyway if you do this for around an hour or so. Anyway, that's why I'm doing this stuff. And let's look at comments and see what is going on. Okay, well, people seem to be saying that it's okay and it's normal and, yep. Yeah, just people. Okay. I don't know. Honestly, yeah, like I said, this is just really an internet test. So I'm open for anything you guys want to ask, or if people, I don't know. Honestly, I kind of don't really have a plan for this. Somebody say things or whatever. Okay, here we go. All right, what are your final thoughts on GT? Right. So that's the thing. So obviously I did watch GT. I basically watched the whole thing. I didn't realize it until like I finished it, but like I started in December. It's like May, so it took me several months to finish it. But so I finished that, and I want to kind of maybe do a live stream just like only about GT. But obviously, before I do that, I wanted to check to see if my internet works. So I guess my final thoughts will probably be then, whenever I do it. But until now, it's don't really think I enjoyed it that much. I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing in existence, but it doesn't really do anything that I particularly wanted, really. And it's not like it's bad or it's good. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, are you better? Do you think it's better than Super or not or whatever?" And it's not ever. Um, but I don't know really. I like there are things about it that kind of frustrate me, and there are things about it where I'm like, okay, this idea is sort of all right. But I mean, they don't. It's not really that they don't do it in a very interesting way. But I think the idea is all right. I do like some of the designs. I think Super Saiyan 4 as a design is pretty acceptable. Like, I think it makes sense. Like, I understand why a lot of people like it and really want to see it show up in other things. Um, I think Baby was an interesting idea for a villain. I think the evil dragons were also kind of interesting, although I wish they did a bit more with them. I don't know, like, it's it's a bit I think the issue is the things about GT that I didn't like really got on my nerves, and also they kept happening. Like, it wasn't just like, this one episode was crap, it was just more like, there was just these things that GT had, and it would just always do them because it's basically part of the show. So it's basically, like, Pan, everything to do with Pan, essentially, the supporting cast mostly being useless, like, Vice just kind of characters just sort of forgetting about their powers until like the end of the episode, basically just to pad out time. And just like also, the superhero Goku, like, people say that superhero Goku is like really a thing that the dub does, but in all honesty, GT kind of has a bit of that superhero Goku as well, where it's just sort of like Goku is basically there to be like, you've done an evil thing, and now I'm gonna make you pay for that evil thing that you did. Like, that is kind of a thing in GT as well. And it's in the Japanese version of GT as well. And it's also because, I mean, like, if you ever watch the movies, Goku is kind of like that as well. The original DBZ movies, it's basically Takao Koyama's sort of interpretation of Goku. Like, okay, if I could summarize GT in a way, it's that, it's basically, a continuation of the DBZ anime, including all that kind of stuff that was in sort of filler episodes. So, if you enjoyed DBZ filler, then I think it's fine. But if you didn't like DBZ filler, and you were a really big manga fan, and you didn't really like sometimes some of the DBZ filler, GT doesn't really do anything to change that. It still kind of has that sort of pacing to it. That sort of like, oh, first of all, I'm gonna forget about going Super Saiyan until like halfway through the episode for no reason, kind of thing. And like that sort of always sort of cutting back to the same kinds of jokes and the same kinds of characters doing the same things over and over again. And those are like their sort of representative things to cut away to. It is quite a lot like the way that the DBZ anime it like is normally paced. So if you like I think if you grew up on the DBZ anime, I think it's all right because I don't think it's that different in a way. But if you grew up on the DBZ anime and also kind of said, I'm just going to collectively forget about the filler stuff and pretend the filler doesn't exist and go to the interesting episodes, then it's not really necessarily going to help you or be anything that's interesting. Anyway, that's something. Let me try and get see some things that people have been doing and posting and commenting. Okay, how do you feel about the old Broly versus the new Broly? The new Broly has at least potential to be more interesting than the old Broly, but I mean, this is actually something that I've realized as well. Basically, as in preparation to the new Broly movie, the thing about old Broly is, well, at least in movie 8, at least in his first appearance, not necessarily in the second two appearances, I can get to that later, but I can kind of somewhat appreciate what the old Broly was trying to be. In that it's almost like that kind of, the sort of immovable object, just sort of big force of crazy generic villain who's just strong and just crazy and just they can't beat him. And what do? Like, he's not very interesting on his own, but like when you see him in comparison to the other characters, the way he interacts, basically the way the other characters bounce off that idea of a villain, I think that's all right. Hang on, I should probably check. Sorry, I don't have, since my stream playback doesn't show on YouTube, I was probably like looking into space as opposed to looking into the camera. Anyway, I do kind of appreciate that. I can understand that as a villain, as a movie villain, as an antagonist that they have to face. The issue is, I guess, yeah, Broly as his own character is not interesting. What made Broly interesting was how the characters have to sort of band together and stop this guy who's just so strong that they can't beat him. Obviously, the problem was in that kind of has that idea is interesting, but it also kind of has diminishing returns. Like, you can't really keep playing that again and again and again and expecting the audiences to react the same way. People are going to get bored by that. And I think movie 10 and movie 11 essentially just did the same kind of thing for Broly. And it's just basically like, they're just almost like make them unnecessary sequels. They're just like, oh no, they fight an unstoppable monster, and then they fight the unstoppable monster again, and then they fight it again, and they don't really do anything unique with that concept, except for sometimes where they rip off the end of the Cell arc. So it's a bit like, but I don't think the issue is really Broly as a character. Like, his motivation was definitely dumb, but like, at least it's not really such a big deal in the grand scheme of the movie. It's just like this one thing, and like you can kind of almost ignore it. But anyway, that's my issue with old Broly. Like, the issue isn't necessarily his character, it's the way that he gets repeated all the time, and every time he shows up in the movies and then again in video games and every other supplementary material, it's always the same kind of thing, and it just felt repetitive and diminishing returns, and it felt cheap. Like, it made Broly feel cheap. Now, the thing with new Broly is he has the potential to be interesting, but I mean, I've got two concerns. One is that, like, they just sort of they're going to use Broly, even though new Broly's slightly different, they're going to essentially use him in the same superficial way where it's like, oh my god, he's the berserk unstoppable monster, what can we do? And once again, if the issue is if they keep playing that card again and again and again, it's gonna lose a lot of its impact. It's just not gonna be as interesting. And the second issue is not really issue, it's just my personal pet peeve. It's just like, if you're gonna kind of like, redeem Broly, and Broly's like, oh, he's this guy with a lot of potential and whatever, he could be really strong, and now everyone's gonna teach him how to use his power or whatever. That's kind of essentially Gohan, sort of. That's sort of what, at least what Gohan's role was earlier on in the franchise, and it's sort of like, I prefer Gohan. I'd prefer we have Gohan than we have Broly, who is also a Gohan, and you know what I mean. So that's basically it. Also, so essentially, I don't really have much of an opinion on New Broly because he really doesn't do much. He shows up and shows he's strong and goes berserk. That's about it. Like, there's implications. Oh, maybe next time, he'll get some friends, and next time he'll be better, and next time he'll learn how to use his powers. But like, unless we actually see that, he is just a potential open storyline, but he's nothing really more than that because the storyline hasn't actually happened. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Broly. Okay. Anyway, for those people who are saying that there's lag and stuff, yeah, I understand that. I don't know why it does that, but when I record on OBS, there's a little bit of lag between my voice, the audio and the video. Like, that's happened as well when I've done like recordings on OBS, not just streams, and I've had to resync it manually. I don't know how to change it because I don't really know much about OBS, so the lag's probably gonna stick there, but hopefully it doesn't get worse. And hey, it doesn't look like there's been any drop frames so far, according to the stream data, so that's great. Alright, okay, so what's the next interesting thing? Okay, if you're wondering about somebody asked, I know this is ages ago, but somebody asked about what my headset was. It's a Logitech one. I can't remember what the number is. Basically, it was a gift, and they basically just, from my parents actually, and they were like, hey, it's a gaming headset. Maybe that will be helpful. And I mean, it does. I sound better than I did when I was just talking to my computer. Okay, somebody talking about the soundtrack of GT. I can. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's like, it's alright, I think. There are some tracks that kind of grate or get on my nerves a little bit, and I feel like it kind of gets a bit too close, too sort of familiar in terms of just doing Dun Dun Kokoro as like the remixing that as bits of the show, but it's alright, I guess. I wouldn't know. I don't know if it's better than Sumitomo or not. Because, like, I feel like Sumitomo had some really good tracks later on, but his early stuff's pretty bad, especially also stuff in Kai. So I'm really not sure. Okay, let's find some other questions. Oh crap. I think I just I think I just I missed out a lot of stuff. Oh no, it's not too bad. Somebody's saying I'm not sick. I'm fine. I'm fine. I guess I'm just this is just me talking casually, and maybe I just don't do that much. I'm more like put on a YouTube voice or a I'm really excited voice. I feel like I don't really do that as much as other people do, but maybe that's it. If not, I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, we don't. This doesn't need to be a Super versus GTS thing. It's just a thing. Okay. Somebody says, "Gotta get back to work, Gabby. Just wanted to say I'm a longtime fan and subscriber from Texas. It's nice seeing you again on the channel, and keep up the good work. Thank you." Um. mhm. Who's a bigger Gohan fan, you or Kagari? Oh, that's good. It's Kagari. Honestly, it is Kagari because first of all, she draws Gohan, and second of all, like she is a bit more. I think she's a bit more vocal than I am in terms of like going around on Twitter and telling people that Gohan should be involved in things. Like it's kind of a joke that like if you have a Twitter conversation about Gohan, Kagari's gonna show up at some point somehow. But yeah. Also, I don't know. Like we are not actually the same person. Even though we're both big, massive Gohan fangirls on Twitter, we are not actually the same person. I just want to confirm that for everybody who does not know that we are different people. Okay. Demon Sorrow says hello from Washington, US. Hello. Um, okay. Fire Lightning Numbers says what makes Broly target Vegeta instead of Goku? It's because the whole thing that Paragus has a grudge against King. Oh wait, unless you're talking about old Broly. Old Broly is weird that he targets Goku because like yeah, the him having this like they try to sort of set up a grudge between Broly and Goku, but it just doesn't work because there's basically no reason for them to have a grudge at all. It's just kind of silly. Um, New Broly, obviously, he has more reason to care about Vegeta because Paragus told him that King Vegeta was the one that tried to kill him. So even then, though, of course, it's a bit of a stretch to say, like, oh, and then Broly's going to care about younger Vegeta because his father did this thing. It's like, how much does Broly actually care about all this stuff? Isn't he just going to go around and sit around, be happy, and just sitting around and with his big, giant snake dog? But I don't know. Yeah, and Brandon Dodge also says similar. I think old Broly's motivation would have made more sense if he hated Vegeta since his father tried to kill him in Paragus. Exactly. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming everybody here has probably watched the Team 4-star version, so it's like but it's like my father tried to kill him. Then why did you hate me? It's like no, I hate you. Broly hates Kakarot because he cried a lot for like 2 hours. Ugh. Yeah, essentially, yeah. So Orange Hat Review says New Broly has more range, but they run the risk of him becoming old Broly. Yes, that's essentially my worry. That's honestly my worry with Broly. Like how I was saying before, my problem with Broly was his overuse. I think that's basically my issue in general. The problem with Broly is he's nobody really cared about Broly because he might have some deep backstory or whatever. They cared about Broly because oh my god, he's this really big buff Super Saiyan who punches Goku very hard. And that's okay for one story, but that does not have lasting appeal. Like to me at least. Maybe other people would be happy seeing the same story again and again, but for me, I don't think that really has lasting appeal. And the more they try to redo it, the more it feels like it's just going to feel really cheap and lame and boring and just like you only want Broly for one reason and that's about it. Okay. Oh, crap. Ew. Um, yeah. Mike112, hello. I know you. You're like one of my first subscribers. Says, oh, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the way Broly fights is boring. Is that just me? I do understand what you mean because yeah, Broly has a very, you could say it the same way, one hand unique style of fighting, but also kind of very generic at the same time. And then he's just like, he's just this, big buff unstoppable monster thing. So, um it's like it's interesting for like to kind of compare it against other villains, but yeah, it's I don't know how much mileage you can get out of that same kind of fighting style. Like, maybe I don't know. It's maybe some people like it. It's just like I said. Issue with Broly is that they're gonna just keep using him again and again and again, and every time they keep using him in the same way, it gets more obvious that's the only reason why they want Broly there. And then it feels more cheap, and then it just feels kind of like like it feels like you're watching something that's like a corporate thing. And like obviously Dragon Ball right now is trying to make money and like it makes sense. It's trying to be popular. But when it feels like they try to make something interesting first, as well as, maybe trying to make something popular, then it's more fun. But if you're just watching basically the same tropes be repeated themselves, and also not having them really feel like they are actually changing the status quo from movie to movie, then yeah, it just feels like you're watching just this really disposable thing that's just there to give people some nostalgia for the older movies. So anyway, Broly. I should probably stop talking about Broly. Raphael says there are a particular theme to this live. Oh yeah, this is not the GT one. This is my testing my internet to see if it will crap out on me in the middle of a stream or not, because my internet is really bad. Just like ask some people who have been in a voice chat with me on Discord how bad my internet is. It can get pretty bad, especially at nighttime, because as you guys are probably sure, nighttime is peak internet hours. So nighttime, because that's when everyone comes back from work and whatnot. So nighttime, it's often worse than it is in the morning. I'm doing this in the morning now as well, but also the other reason I'm doing it in the morning now because like nighttime for me is like 2 a.m. in American time. It helps because sometimes I think some of my fellow Dragon Ball fandom people from America don't seem to ever sleep normally. They seem to always be up at like 3 a.m. in the morning for some reason. But I'm gonna, you know what? I should not judge people's sleep schedules. People are allowed to do what they want. Okay. Zoltdora asks if I have any new figures. Not really, no. The newest one I think I have is that Gohan one, and I did do an unboxing video for that. So, uh, actually, that's true. There is one thing I have. I posted it on Twitter. I didn't do it on YouTube. Although, honestly, it would have been actually really fun to do to record, but now it's over. I can't really do it. My cousin gave me as a gift one of those Dragon Ball Z related micro blocks. So they're basically like almost like a Lego ripoff, but like they're like mini Legos, and it's a Gohan one. He was basically like, "Oh, I said I wasn't gonna get one unless it was a Gohan one, and then I saw a Gohan one." So yeah, my cousin knows my preferences. I do appreciate that. So we built that as well. Like him and I did it together, and I guess it's probably good. Like I'm saying that it'd be fun to record that, but it would also be kind of hard because like it's it's hard to. Well, first of all, I mean, I'd have to get like a video camera at the right spot and not just use my webcam on this laptop. And second of all, like there was a lot of I think I did it wrong, or I think I put this in. Oh no, it fell apart. Now let's start again. So it would have required a lot of editing, but that would be a really fun video. But anyway, I have that. It's a little like cell. No, it's not cell arc. Saiyan arc like Piccolo Gi Gohan with the little like neck warmer thing. So it's cute. Okay. Ooh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm sorry. Okay, because I'm trying to. I okay. Augustus. You said you didn't answer my question. I don't know what your question was. I must have missed it. Because the issue is that when I try to sort of scroll down, oftentimes it'll just like immediately go back to the newest questions, the newest comments, and then I just miss a whole bunch. Uh huh. Best Gohan outfit or haircut? Haircut cell games out. Haircut is my favorite one. Like just the because it basically looks like essentially a shorter, neater version of Goku's hair, but like it's unique to Goku's hair. It's not just like ripping off Goku's hairdo. It's like its own thing, but it also like it's kind of a little bit similar to Goku, but also quite different. I feel like it represents him quite well, and I do enjoy that one. Outfit, I mean, I think I do have to agree. Herms on Twitter was recently doing just a list of daily Gohan outfits. I think he was just doing a final one today, and of like the manga, and he was basically like, yeah, the Great Saiyaman outfit, but like without the cape and the helmet is like the best outfit. I think I do agree. It does look very nice. Like I think it's a cool outfit. Like the whole like tunic thing with like a layer underneath. I think it's cool because like it's sort of martial artsy, but it's like also not just like everybody else where it's just like a gi but in a slightly different color. So I think that one is honestly pretty unique. So maybe that would be my favorite. But I mean I don't mind Gohan's hairstyle nowadays, at least as long as it's got the bang. When I like for like Super when he's not fighting, and like GT hairstyle where it's just straight up and it's just like there's nothing else. It's just straight up. It's not. I don't really like it very much. It's quite boring. I'll be honest. Like they tried to make it work, but I think it just looks quite boring. How many Broly's does it take to screw on a light bulb? I don't know. I mean, maybe like how many Broly's can you put in a deck in Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission? If you can get seven, then seven. Yeah, I don't actually have Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission. I could buy it, but first of all, I don't really like Heroes that much. I don't like the kinds of stuff that's in Heroes in terms of the fan service. And second of all, I was looking at the gameplay and it looks kind of really boring. Like the gameplay looks very slow. Like I think I mean Dragon Ball Fusions for the Nintendo 3DS I think also kind of has a little bit of this issue as well. But it's just like this thing where you just have to oftentimes just sort of sit there and wait for every character to do their attack and to go through their attack animation and to do their like, little mini game thing. And it just looks like it takes forever for anything to actually happen. And also like the other thing with heroes I was just looking from gameplay is just like the characters have so many different abilities that just kind of stack up onto each other. It just feels like they all sort of become meaningless at the end of the day because you just get all these different, oh, this person's ability is activated, and this one's ability activated, and this increases this by like this amount of points. And like it's like it's a card game, but the card game has so many different effects stacked up onto each other. At the end of the day, it just kind of devolves into noise. So that's why I don't have Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I can understand why it's kind of addictive, like the idea of using the physical cards in the arcade game in Japan. That's quite interesting. I can understand why people like that. But the actual gameplay itself, it just looks kind of gross. Like, it looks kind of boring to me. Sabo Tower says New Broly was a great character until he started fighting, which, yeah, basically, I guess that's sort of the issue. One of my issues with the Broly movie was that, yeah, they once Broly started fighting, they did use quite a bit of like, oh my god, he's just gonna fight exactly like the old Broly, even though there's kind of even no reason for him to be like mad or insane. Like he's not really necessarily insane like the old Broly is. So why is he acting like he's insane? Like, okay, the part where Paragus dies, okay, then he has a good reason to be sort of insane. Although there it happened so quickly, I feel like it was a bit. I wish they'd kind of given that a bit more time. But the issue was like even like just while he's just fighting Vegeta, he's just going to that Uzaru rage form thing, and is like, oh, now he's basically unstoppable. He's this unstoppable monster. And it's like basically the first fight he's ever had in his life, and he's becoming an unstoppable monster. And if you think about that, that's kind of like it feels like that just happened a little bit too quickly. Like if you want to do the unstoppable monster thing, make it start off him not being an unstoppable monster, make him not look like this big rage person, and then have something actually happen, and then there's a good reason why he becomes a rage monster. Like, like it feels like there's no real turning point. He's just from the moment he like even from the moment he just lunges at Vegeta, he's basically the same character from the beginning till the part he gets defeated by Gogeta. So I don't hate the Broly movie. It's just not really. It wasn't anything that I really enjoyed. Like, it's not my cup of tea. It's not the kind of stuff that I think I enjoy about Dragon Ball. Except the animation, like the Naoto Shishida cut was insane. Like, it's great. Like that is just like a okay. We are along for the ride, and it's awesome, and I love it. I love Shida's stuff. Um. Okay. Orange Hat Review says, "Do you think Vegeta is stronger than Goku? Vegeta pushed into God forms without doing what Goku did. Also, him ascending into a higher blue form was very interesting." Okay, in terms of Vegeta, I don't know. Like, honestly, the whole Super Saiyan God part has been kind of very muddied now because the characters can just kind of use Super Saiyan God whenever they want. Oh crap, my nose is so itchy. God. I don't know why it's happening. It's gross. I'm sorry, that's really gross to do on stream, but my nose is really itchy. But in terms of the like blue evolution form that Vegeta gets in the Tournament of Power, the way that they framed that, I'm pretty sure, like, it definitely feels like that is supposed to be kind of his equivalent to Goku's Kaioken, Blue Kaioken, because the way that the two of them sort of power up into those forms together, I feel like they're supposed to be the equals. So it's basically Vegeta's way of catching up to that whole, like, Goku now can use Kaioken with the blue things. I don't think it's necessarily he's stronger than Goku. Also my bias. But, never mind. Never mind. Mike's like, "Oh, Gabby knows who I am. What? I mean, come on, you were like literally one of the first people to subscribe to me, and like that's interesting. So like back when I had like a few subscribers, I remember that kind of stuff. At least, especially for people who actually comment on things. What Michael Denton says, what color do you think Goku's hair will turn next? I hope it's not actually white. Okay, I want to say something right now. I have not said it on my YouTube channel. Ultra Instinct is silver. It is not white. He is not Goku Blanco. He has silver hair, not white hair. Okay, it's not white. I hopefully Goku doesn't get a new hair color for a while because obviously I really enjoyed Ultra Instinct as a form. So I hope that we don't just immediately go and be like, okay, new guy, Ultra Instinct isn't gonna work. Goku's gonna get a new form. That's not like Ultra Instinct at all. Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct. I don't know. Okay, Eric says, "Hello, Gabby. What do you think about the Moro arc in the Super manga?" I'm not sure. Right now, honestly, it's not very compelling for me. Mostly just because, first of all, I think Moros hasn't isn't that interesting as an antagonist. I mean, like, sure, some of the concepts are sort of like, oh, he's like this almost eldritch god thing that eats planets and stuff. Like, that's kind of cool, I guess. But his abilities are quite lame. Despite him supposed to have like all this magic powers, all it really is just stealing people's energy, which isn't really that interesting. Like, in all honesty, you could have a character who steals people's energy as like a one-off tournament villain, and I would totally believe that. Not necessarily believe that he's like a threat to the entire galaxy because he has this one-off energy absorbing ability. But I've got to admit, I do like that the Galactic Patrol get involved. I like that there's Jaco. I think that characters like Jaco there really add more to the story because basically it's a supporting cast member who is like reacting on things. I think that's quite interesting. I think that makes it more fun. I just also don't really know where the end game of this is. It feels like this arc is probably quite. First of all, it might be a manga original thing, and second of all, it doesn't really feel like we're learning much or getting much out of it. I feel like at the end of the day, it's just gonna be like we're gonna find some way to beat Moro, and then Moro gets captured again. The end of the story, everyone goes back, and we never mention this again. And especially after things like, say, the Broly movie and I mean, even the Tournament of Power in a way, Resurrection F in a way, Universe 6 arc in a way, Future Trunks arc also, I guess, in a way. A lot of those stories, they're fun on their own, but then they kind of get to the issue where you're sort of like, okay, at the end of the day, we just sort of go back home, everything's fine, and we never really mention it again. And like, it's okay to do one or two stories like this. I understand Dragon Ball Super is a different situation to how the Dragon Ball manga was working, but when you have story after story after story where it feels like the consequences of what happens in the arc, nobody's really mentioning it, it doesn't really inform what happens next in the story, it gets very tiring when you have another arc and you're like, okay, this is another low stakes adventure where we just go back home at the end. Okay. Raphael, oh, excuse me, is Raphael saying about something about Jiren? I like Jiren now. Jiren's fun. Okay, no Jiren hate here. Jiren does not need a Jiren does not need his backstory explained in detail. Jiren is fun because he is basically the like exemplification of that idea of just like the loner strong guy. And it's basically almost like a deconstruction where Jiren's like this, oh my god, this is so cool, loner strong guy. And then you realize he's actually just like this really like sad, lonely dude who just didn't want to get friends because he didn't want to be weak. And now he's fine. Now he's got his character development. He knows what having friends is like. So yay, I want to see Jiren get friends. I'm very weird. I don't know. Uh, I do not know how on earth to pronounce that name, but they say, I think Broly could work better in his own Netflix spin-off show, a spin-off with actual arcs and not just slice of life episodes. It could work. I mean, like people make jokes that new Broly is basically like Tarzan, so you could have, excuse me, you could have a story of like Tarzan and Jane, but instead it's Broly and Chilai. I don't know. It could be. I mean, like I said, I'm not really that engrossed in Broly's story that much, but I know other people are, so maybe they'd be interested. But I'm pretty sure Toei would not do a Netflix Dragon Ball show. That just doesn't really seem like Toei, especially with like the idea that when Super was coming out, like they still sort of wanted them in the international broadcast, they still wanted people to have like TV deals and stuff, even though like everyone just watches anime through like Crunchyroll now, but they still wanted like TV deals because they thought that's like the best way to get kids watching. So I don't know, it could be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I am, to be fair, I'm up for Dragon Ball spin-offs. I just don't really know if they do them. Oh yeah, and then Raphael's like, "Hey, my internet's bad too. High five." That's what. I'm very far behind on these things. Crap. Crap. Sorry. I need to. Where was I? Aladdin Jin says, I'm Irish. So that's cool. Hello, you any Irish viewers out there, or anyone else who's from weird country? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm Australian, as you guys should probably now know by now because of my accent. So, I mean, it's interesting to see people who aren't necessarily from America. Because and it's also interesting because you guys also have different histories with like Dragon Ball or just anything else, really, anything else that like people watch. Because it's interesting, like I like this idea we could have like it's like almost like it's international kind of community of people coming together to talk about nerdy stuff. uh Thusla says, I hear the reason Japan is pumping out so much DBS is because they're going bankrupt. No, I have not heard anything like that. That's not likely at all. I mean, if you look at things like Toei and Bandai's financial figures, which they actually report, I mean, in Japanese oftentimes, but they actually do press releases of them. Their profits have skyrocketed basically ever since they started doing Dragon Ball stuff, and it's Toei and Bandai Namco. Bandai Namco, I think, have gotten a lot of money. Well, first of all, from like merchandise, also from Dokkan Battle and the mobile games. The mobile games get them a lot of money, as well as also games like Xenoverse 2 and Fighters. And Toei, of course, got lots of money from Dragon Ball Super, the advertising, the related merchandise sales, all that kind of stuff. They're fine. Japan's fine. I mean, sort of, kind of. Like, I know the anime industry right now has a bit of a thing where they kind of do a lot of overproduction, but I don't really know if that's got to do with their actual financial situation. I don't know. I know a bit more than I used to, but not everything. Mhm. Showing says, "Ha, I'm one of those people that read all your GT Watch tweets, most of them as they were appearing around 2. Okay. Oh, about 2 to 3 a.m. Oh no, go to bed. Jeez, go to bed. Don't wake up for my GT tweets. Because obviously I realized that sometimes, I would tweet and watch GT and tweet them like at about oftentimes at night my time. And I was like, I'm not expecting to get much traction from them now because most people are probably asleep. But I'm alright because whatever, they can catch it if them in the morning if they really want to, and that's why I put them in the hashtag and I put them on my Twitter moments thread thing, so that way people can actually see them. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That I noticed there were people who would be like every time, like people would start liking them as soon as they come up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you guys are. I hope you guys are actually reading them and not just liking them instinctively. But yeah, that's cool. Brandon Dodge says, "What's your favorite Gohan moment?" A lot of them. Obviously, beating Cell's great. Obviously, like him going back to the fight against Vegeta after like running away and when he sees how powerful Vegeta is great. Obviously, like God, that part in the when they're fighting the Namekians from Universe 6 in the Tournament of Power, and Gohan's like Piccolo sort of losing faith because the Namekians are so strong because they've absorbed so many other Namekians, and then Gohan is basically the one person who's sort of keeping his cool and is sort of just like to Piccolo. He's like, we're gonna try this again and we'll win this together, and it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful moment. And then like Piccolo's just like, oh man, and to think that I was the one chewing you out for like not being a warrior. Oh, that was really great. You can tell because I'm smiling. That I don't know. There's lots of Gohan moments. I can probably think of more if I want to, but those are just ones that are in my head right now. And the Light B said, "Do you ever think about doing the character comparison between Xeno Goku and regular Goku?" Not real. Maybe that was an idea at one point, but like Xeno Goku, especially also like he was only in like what 2 or 3 like episodes of those like 6-7 minute Super Dragon Ball Heroes things. It's not really much of a thing to talk about. I feel like there's not much comparison you can make because the Xeno Goku is only really marginally different through very small bits of characterization in these very small promotional anime episodes. So maybe not, but maybe we like sort of talk more about the way that people perceive Goku. I don't know. Kasak126 says, "Hello, I just wanted to say I've loved watching your videos." Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Rob something something twiz and I don't know. Have you purchased any new Oh yeah. Right, new Dragon Ball Z figures? No, not if I purchase any new ones, I'm probably gonna do an unboxing. So I haven't the unboxings are all on my channel. I think they're under my random vlogs playlist. They're probably all there, so you can look at all of those. I've actually got quite a lot. Fernando Lima says, "Hello, Mozilla." Hello, Fernando. Okay, Augustus, there we go. Ask it again. Would it be hilarious if Vegeta was also wished into a kid alongside Goku with the Black Star Dragon Balls? Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, we obviously don't see that much of like a kid Vegeta, so it would be interesting to see how he acts. Also, it would be very interesting to see Ryo Horikawa doing a kid voice because he doesn't do that very often. I think I like, I wonder if he'd be able to pull it off or not. Because like obviously, and Takeshi Kusao, who does Trunks, he does the kid Trunks voice as well, and so that's why he puts on that kind of really sort of high pitched nasally voice, which sort of sounds like a kid, little boy, but also sounds a little bit irritating. It's because it's a grown man pretending to be a little boy. That's what the advantage of Masako Nozawa is that since she is a woman's voice, so she can do a kid voice, a young voice with like a high pitched voice without it sounding really obnoxious. I mean, some people don't like Nozawa, so they'd say it sound obnoxious anyway, but I think Nozawa's kid voice is very good. Mr. Shaya96 says British. No, I am Australian, unless that's a reply to something earlier. Danny Wave says, "Do you like Goku and Vegeta's relationship at GT or Super?" I think both of them have their advantages, and then they also kind of a bit sort of relapse a bit too much into the old formula, sort of for no good reason. GT had like moments where had some interesting moments where it was like, oh, Vegeta is the one to suggest fusion to Goku, but then at the same time, there's also weird bits like a lot of there's a lot of like Vegeta still throwing hissy fits because Goku has gotten stronger and he can't beat Goku, which is sort of like I thought you'd gotten used to this. Super obviously does the same thing. Super also has Vegeta be a bit more hesitant for the few points where they do have to fuse as well. I mean, I don't know. Like Honestly, I guess maybe GT's relationship's a little bit better, but GT also gets a little bit more intense with how pissed off Vegeta gets. So, I don't know. Yeah, Raphael says, Saiyan man with no helmet feels like a martial arts gi with a Saiyan spandex underneath. Best of both worlds. Exactly. I couldn't have put it better myself. I mean, well, it's not even martial arts though, because like it's, martial arts don't necessarily wear tunics. Kind of reminds me of like Legend of Zelda or something. I don't know, it just looks comfortable. Like the tunic just looks comfortable. Like I would wear that. Maybe not like the skin tight bodysuit thing underneath, but like I think it looks cute. So yeah. Tim Stevens says, have you watched all the episodes of Dragon Ball Heroes? It seems like they've strayed from the characters' personalities. For example, Trunks called Vegeta Dad, lol. I thought Trunks normally calls Vegeta Dad in, like, the show. Well, I can't, now I can't remember if he calls him in Z, but in Super I feel like he did a few times. In terms of characterization, though, I mean, Goku now with like the Ultra Instinct stuff is so boring. He basically has no personality. The villains basically have no personality except for like Zamasu, who's alive with this really like edgy outfit with like having one of his eyes like gone, covering one of his eyes. It's very dumb. It's very dumb, but I have watched all of the episodes. Sometimes I just like watch them to laugh at them. Like if it looks especially cheap looking, sometimes it's fun to laugh at. But when it's just sort of all right, then I'm just like, oh, this isn't even fun to riff at. Like the previous episode where they had a thing from Naoto Shishida for a bit, and if you know what Shida's stuff looks like, you know that looks like Shida. Although I think it was quite heavily corrected to make it look like Yamamuro's style. And it was like, oh, this actually looks nice for like 2 seconds, and it's gone to being very boring again. Sean Henson says, shout out from Oklahoma, USA. Okay, thank you. Thank you from Oklahoma. Rob says, have you watched John Wick 3? No, I haven't seen any of the John Wick movies. I've heard that they're kind of a cult classic. I've also heard that they're quite extremely violent. I'm not sure if they're my kinds of movies. I mean, but then again, I feel like I've sort of softened on the idea. I think a few years ago, I would be kind of against the idea of watching a movie that's really violent, but I think I'd be alright with watching it now. It's just I never really had anyone who was like, oh, John Wick's the best, need to see it, or I'll see John Wick with you, or whatever. So, Oscar Diaz says, what's your favorite DBZ arc of all time? I personally have a very strong connection to the Cell arc. A lot of some of my friends, you could say, and other people in the community kind of don't really have sort of their opinions sort of shifted where they really don't like the Cell arc. Hi Lance, you're not here, but hi Lance. But I really enjoy it, and yeah, it's got lots of really interesting moments between the characters. I feel like it's just really like it's really interesting to watch because even in some places it's sort of sloppily written. I feel like it's got a lot of emotion behind it, and the way that the characters act, I can really understand in some ways. I think it's just really interesting to think. Uh, okay, Raphael says if Super would implement Super Saiyan 4, how do you think they would do it? Ugh. Oh god, I don't want to think about that. No offense to Super Saiyan 4 fans. It's just, I don't want Super to keep putting in, hey, people liked this thing, so let's nostalgically insert that into Super. Like, Broly and Gogeta and, like, Future Trunks and an evil Goku. Like, one or two of these are alright, but can we just stop thinking about that? Being said, if you wanted to do a Super Saiyan 4, I think people were having a good point in saying that Broly's sort of angered state is kind of like Super Saiyan 4, because it's like he's using the Uzaru power in his human form. So maybe they wouldn't make it such a drastic design. Yeah, like it's. I'll be honest, it is kind of weird that it's basically a full-on transformation, including new clothes, where no previous Super Saiyan transformation would ever even do anything like that. So, yeah, maybe it would be a subtle change, but it's just like you're using Uzaru. But maybe it would be red. Like, okay, one thing I don't understand about Broly's rage form is why is it yellow eyes? Because the Uzaru has red eyes. Like, wouldn't it make more sense to have red eyes? Even if even if that's really edgy and kind of cliche, wouldn't that make more sense? I don't know. Yeah, Brandon Dodge says that Ultra Instinct feels more like a final form. I don't think there should be another form, honestly. And honestly, yeah, I agree. Ultra Instinct definitely does kind of feel like. Well, first of all, obviously the climax of everything that Goku sort of learned from the gods, inverted commas. And second of all, also it's sort of like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, but how do you get like, okay, you could easily say he gets Ultra Instinct and he just gets better at Ultra Instinct. Like how you had Super Saiyan in the Cell arc and you just had the Super Saiyan, and then there was like all the Super Saiyan grade things, then like getting control over Super Saiyan and being more casual in Super Saiyan. I think you could do that for Ultra Instinct, but it gets to the point that, yeah, the next form would just be like, oh, okay, we had a really good ending point there, stopping off point, we don't need to go further. Goku's hair will probably fall out. Super bald guy, Super Saiyan God. Oh god, don't tell people about the Gohan Calvo memes. Actually, why did I even say that out loud? Now I feel dirty. Next question. Demon Sorrow says, I'm thinking Toriyama has a handful of dice he rolls with story aspects, like rolls. Okay, alien, super strong, level up, someone almost dies, extra in, everyone eats together. I think so, but in a way, I think you're kind of right. But in a way, I also think the things he is very specific about is, and we're going to put this very specific gag in, like very specific gag, like the thing with the Bulma wishing to be 5 years younger at the same time as Frieza wishes to be 5 centimeters taller. I think that was one of the best parts of the movie, to be honest. Like, I was seeing it with some of my friends, and one of my friends brought some people who I didn't really, one of some of her friends, and one of them, like, she is sort of casually new Dragon Ball Z, and when she saw that, like, Frieza was just going to be 5 centimeters taller, she just completely freaked out. She's just like, what? They're using the Dragon Balls for that? Only 5 You gotta be kidding me. And it was really good. Yeah, Mike says they did the Eldritch God that eats people already before. It was called Boo, and that is true. That is the other issue with it. The fact that he's kind of like Boo, and I mean, I guess it's alright because Boo was in the arc, so it's sort of like, okay, maybe we will have two different Eldritch Gods fighting each other, but yeah. Moro does feel like kind of a bit of a composite of a lot of Dragon Ball Z villains. He kind of uses magic like Boo. He absorbs people's energies like the androids. He goes around and attacks Namek basically just like Frieza does because he wants the Dragon Balls just like Frieza. He also kind of wants to be younger like Piccolo. So he doesn't really have much of an identity of his own. He feels like quite a composite of a lot of random Dragon Ball Z characters. If anything, like if there was some twist about like maybe Moro isn't real or he's like something pretending to be a Dragon Ball villain, like I'd be down for that plot twist because it would make a lot of sense. Maybe not, but that's what I feel. Okay, okay, I'm actually not too far behind from these comments, which is good. Chronos Lolliot asked, what do you enjoy about Dragon Ball? But that's a very broad question. I just want to say I haven't skipped the question. It's just very broad. I don't know. Yeah, Brandon says, I think we should really move to the end of Z already, so we'll be unsure whether or not everyone will be okay. The issue at the end of Z really is kind of basically, honestly, the Oob issue and also the everyone's getting too old issue. The Oob issue is the fact that Oob is there, and it kind of doesn't really make any sense to not include Oob then if Goku's training him. But at the same time, Oob has so little to him. I can understand why like the writers wouldn't be interested in actually exploring what he did. Like in GT, Oob does basically nothing other than that one point where he fuses with Majin Buu and fights Baby for like half of an episode. Like nobody really cares about Oob other than just what he represents. So that's the issue about End of Z. The other one is that the idea is the characters are all getting old, or at the very least sort of more past their prime. So it's sort of like a oh, so they're sort of weaker now. So do we go to the next generation? But they don't want to go to the next generation because like the other characters are too iconic. It's a very difficult situation, to be honest. I don't really envy people who have to come up with new story ideas in between this sort of 5 year time gap. But at the same time, I don't really know exactly what they should do either. Demon Sorrow says Jiren gets an echo and has to save it. Next movie. Okay, I would be totally down for Jiren just having this tiny cat. Definitely. Definitely. I'd buy a plushie of the tiny cat. Do it, Toei. I have my money just waiting for you. Do it. Yep, Sarge says the joys of Australian internet. Exactly. Don't we love just not being able to do anything. It's fun. It's the best. See, just now it just said YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. See, don't you love Australian internet? It's beautiful. Right, Orange Hat Reviews says, my take on the new Broly, he is adaptive. Basically, his body is the perfect warrior, learning as he fights and adapting to superior opponent is his mind and personality that need better focus. That could be interesting. I just don't really know how you'd go about making that a story arc. Like, in a way, first of all, it seems almost like a little surprisingly complex for Dragon Ball, and second of all, like, what is it got to do with, like, the martial art of it? Like, is Goku gonna teach Broly how to improve his personality? Like, that's kind of weird. Okay, Cronus Lilia says that I'm from Mexico. Awesome, cool. Wait, no, what does it say? Oh no, no, wait, yeah, yeah. See, here we go. It's not working. See, this is the thing that I was worried about. So now I'm gonna go and wait and see how everybody really deals with this. See what they actually do. And see if everybody starts showing up and being like, what's going on? This is not working. Yeah, Space Party 66 is Aussie represent. Woo! Zolt Dola is from Hungary. Awesome. This is Spicy is from Germany, which is really cool. Danny Wave says, do you believe that Goku and Vegeta will use God Ki within their Super Saiyan forms because they lost the ability of their God forms? No, I mean, look, they use their god forms in the Broly movie, like, really easily. They act like it's just the next transition up from, like, Super Saiyan. So, I think God's gonna stick around. I honestly, I wish God didn't stick around, but, well, what can I do? See, it's not okay. I shouldn't keep saying this, but yeah, it's you guys are going to experience buffering now, and I'm very sorry. Gaston Campana. I don't know how to. I'm sorry. I don't know how to Spanish. I'm very sorry. Said the only problem I have with Jiren was that he should have had something else that explained why he got so strong. Like maybe give the backstory, but add something. Like maybe he saw the same thing. Honestly, I'm alright with it. I think it's a bit like. I think that it's like, okay, let's put it this way. If Goku could become that strong just basically from just training really hard, I mean, sure, he had mentors, but like, he was mostly just training with those mentors. I feel like if Jiren just basically. First of all, I mean, it is another universe. He is a different alien species. And the idea that he's just like been training this whole time. I can understand that just like, he's just gotten that through pure hard work. We don't even know how old he is, just pure hard work. I can believe that he's stronger than Goku. I mean, maybe if he were like in Universe 7, just on another planet, I'd be like, maybe not. But also because he's another universe, and also like, the God of Destruction knows him as well, so I can believe it. Alpha J says, what are your thoughts on Funimation's 30th anniversary Blu-ray box set? I don't know who's asking for it, basically. I don't know who wants it. Like, it's basically just the old Blu-rays, but in 4x3. But like, why? Like, it's a very weird subset of people because the people who want 4x3 are also people who kind of don't really want that much digital noise reduction, or people who don't want that much kind of cropping in it anyway. So it's a weird thing. I don't know who they're marketing it to. And then there's the fact that it just got like, they're still making this really premium release limited edition set, which is weird because the people who want a good physical release of Dragon Ball Z, they just want everyone to be able to get it. They don't want to have it be some special limited edition thing. So I feel like it's just trying to appeal to this market that doesn't actually exist. Mm-hmm. Kronos Lilia says, I think they will wait to start producing Super. They're going to wait. They're not going to do Super 2 until One Piece Stampede premieres. I don't know about that. Like, from the people who have told us, who have gotten leaks of things, they have actually started production of Super 2. They just haven't announced that it's coming yet officially. Or they sort of have in like some financial things, but then like later on Toei USA is like, no, that's not Super. Like there are people who have like are actually starting animation on Super 2. So yeah, it's coming. The only question is just as to when. Space Party asks what state you're in. I am not from Queensland. I am from New South Wales. So, I heard that the Queensland people were like very annoyed. Were like whatever. I shouldn't go into politics, but I'm sure I don't think it's that controversial to be like, don't really like the Liberals that much. I liked Malcolm Turnbull though. Politics. Who would have thought I'm talking about politics in my stream? I am fearless. Fabian Ocasio said, "Would you ever do a Let's Play of Xenoverse 2?" I could, maybe. The issue is I don't really have the equipment. Like, I don't have a capture device. I mean, I do actually, it's true. I have a capture device. I could capture game audio from my laptop, but my laptop is a crappy laptop, and I don't know if it. Okay, first of all, also it doesn't have Windows, so it wouldn't be able to play Xenoverse 2 because I don't think you can play it on a Mac. Second of all, although I mean you can get Steam on Mac, but I don't think it's anyway. There's that, and then there's also like my computer's like it's a MacBook Air. It doesn't. It's not like some gaming PC. It doesn't have very high specs, so I don't know if it'd really be able to play a really like new release game. And third of all, like Let's Play seems to take time and editing, like a lot of time in editing, and I'm not good at that. I'm lazy, okay? But like I've always thought that maybe doing like there was one time, in fact, I think I still have a DS ROM on my computer because I wanted to do potentially like maybe a DS Pokemon game, maybe like something like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon either as well, maybe because that's one of my favorite underrated Pokemon games. But I mean, I was actually playing it, but even then, it has a lot of lag in it on the emulator. So I don't know if that's because of my computer settings or because the emulator isn't very good or something. But that's always an option. But I don't know. It could be potentially, but it's I'm not really much of a gamer. I could play Pokemon games because they're easy. Fire Lightning says, I have to get to bed. I'm a fan and subscriber of yours. You make the best videos, and I'm from the United States. Oh, sorry, you're probably in bed by the time I read this message because of the lag, but thank you, and thank you for coming to the stream. Leon O'Brien says, if they wish them young, I hope they go to like toddlers so we can have some real comedy. Like with the Pilaf gang, maybe? Cronus Lolly said it'd be fun if Goku and Vegeta get turned to kids with their memories erased. Could you imagine Kid Goku and Kid Vegeta interacting? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, the question is, like, would Kid Goku and Kid Vegeta be like their personalities even though their memories are gone? Because obviously, a lot of who they are really defined by their experiences. Zolt Dora says, have you watched One Punch Man? Yeah, I watched season 1 when it was coming out. I've been watching season 2 as well. Like, I think I enjoyed Mob Psycho 100 a bit more, but I watched it. It was fun. I think it's still fun. Like, season 2 is obviously nowhere near as good as season 1, but it's fine. It's not too bad. Like, it's not bad. Most creative name says, how did you feel about Vegeta really getting in touch with himself, being a Saiyan who is living on Earth, like how he really assimilated? I think it's fine. I think sometimes it almost gets a bit too, not overdone, but it's basically just there to show off like how cool Vegeta is. Like it doesn't really make him compromised anyway. It just sort of makes him look like he's just the best person in existence because he's adjusted to Earth. That's the thing that annoys me, I think, about Vegeta stuff. Because, I don't know, just like the constant like praise that it's just like patting on the back to Vegeta because he's gotten character development, and I think it just gets a bit tiring. Like, I prefer to see Vegeta actually being compromised, having to have issues, having to have things he has to deal with, as opposed to just like him seeing bra and he's like, okay, now I'm gonna go and change her diaper, and everyone's like, wow, Vegeta, you're really good at changing diapers, if you know what I mean. Yeah, 31 months. Mecha Zamasu is so goofy. I have to love it. I mean, I know Sailor Spaz loves it because she loves Zamasu. Shout outs. She's the one who does. She's sometimes doing the translating for some of the fan sub things. The ones that if you want to get the fan subs on YouTube, go to Teresa's channel because she's the one who's actually sort of producing the fan subs. So, and she can put it on YouTube because Bandai does not seem to actually mind because it's a promotional anime thing that no one really cares that much about. Kronos Liliad said, do you don't watch Game of Thrones because it's really violent? That's not true because I've read the books. I just don't watch Game of Thrones because I watched up to season 2 and then I just sort of forgot to keep watching. And this was like after season 3 or 4 or 5 had already come out anyway. So I just fell behind and then I'm like, I'll watch it some other time maybe. And I just never did. But I've read the books, so I know what happens in the books parts. But obviously, I've also been sort of keeping up to date on the spoilers recently just because I found everyone gotten pissed off. And I'm like, I wonder what everyone got pissed off about. So now I know. But obviously, I'm not going to say anything unless people are like totally fine with doing a Game of Thrones spoilers talk. I mean, it's starting in 10 minutes. I'm not watching it because I don't have HBO or Foxtel or anything. But I'll just vicariously live it through people's live tweets. It's fun. Oh, it's pronounced. Oh, crap. Sorry. 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 Okay. Okay. So this is back for Showing is says I couldn't wait to read your GT sleeps traits, and besides, most of the time I couldn't sleep, so it was entertaining to read your thoughts as they were appearing. Okay, yeah, it's really Okay, Raphael says, thoughts on Detective Pikachu movie? No spoilers, please. Pikachu's really cute. I want to hug him. He's the most huggable live action thing that I've seen, CGI thing that I've seen. I want to hug all the Pokemon. Story was pretty generic. Sometimes I kind of wish they'd gone a bit further with the Pokemon concept, but if this allows to greenlight more interesting Pokemon movies, I'm totally fine with that. Mike says, I still hate Kale's transformation because of how her transformation was Broly's fan service, and that's someone that likes the concept of Kale. Yeah, okay, Kale could have been really interesting, but unfortunately, and especially it's weird now because I don't remember where or who said it, but I think that they knew that the Broly movie was going to happen before they came up with the idea of Kale. So that just kind of makes Kale, the way that they used Kale, very weird because they kind of, a lot of Kale's, at least for the first 2 episodes, like that she went berserk in, episode 93 and episode 100, they basically just really very heavily referenced stuff from the old Broly movies, and I kind of don't really know why, because they knew that Broly was going to come back again. If they wanted to do references, why wouldn't they do it in the movie? But then they did do some references in the movie, so it's just like the show and the movie were just sort of doing the same thing, and they knew that they were going to do the same thing, so it's like, why did they do it? It's very weird, and it also stops Kale from actually being an interesting idea of a character, because she's just there to reference old nostalgic movies, which is a waste. That's a real waste. James Diggs says, hey, hello. Justin Carlino said, didn't Toriyama put the no-kissing joke from the Future Trunks arc in the plot outline? We don't know that, but what we do know is that it was in both the anime and the manga, which means it's very likely that Toriyama... It's not very likely, but if it was... Let's put it this way. If it was from Toriyama specifically, it would be in both versions. Let's put it that way. It could have just been that, the anime did it, and then Toyotaro really liked that joke and put it in it as well. But we don't know for sure. Tim Stevens says, what do you think Dragon Ball Z Abridged will do in Season 4? How excited for you are you? I'm pumped. I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be fun because, I mean, from what we've heard from everybody, I mean, Scott as well, I did. You guys want to watch my interview with Kaiser Neko? I can have been talking to him about DBCA. It was fun. Anyway, it seems to me it's gonna be much more like season 2 in terms of the comedy style, and I know a lot of people enjoyed that. Like, I enjoyed season 3 just basically to watch like Scott's giant Cell Arc fan fiction. I enjoyed that. I thought it was really fun. But I understand a lot of people like the season 2 thing, and it means it's probably a lot more like just real, just laugh moments. There might also be like jokes that I don't really find as funny, but I'm not sure. Robo P says, "Hi Gabby, hello." Super Saiyan 4 Supermanarot. That's a name. I get it, man. Superman Kakarot, I think? I got your name pun. What do you think about the TFS DBZ Super Abridged clips? Like the interaction between Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta's been replaced like Piccolo for another more satisfying rival, significant other. I mean, yeah, it kind of is. Like, in terms of like Goku always finding new rivals, like it is almost like this relationship thing where it's like Goku's just going around and like finding new rivals. He's never sticking to one because I mean Goku is Goku. Goku's a free spirit, you know, he can never be tied down. Goku does what Goku wants, you know? And Vegeta's like, no, why don't you settle down and stick to one person to be your rival? I think it's very funny because I think the metaphor makes a whole lot of sense. Like it does work as a equivalent. Okay, yeah, there we go. So there was buffering. Yeah, I knew because for some reason that was my internet being potato. So probably, most likely. But at least it didn't last that long because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of things, but yay. Sean Wilson says, "Hi, Gabby, Vegeta gang. Sorry, I'm not really part of the Vegeta gang. I'm really sorry." Leon O'Brien says, "At this point, I really wish Dragon Ball would split into 2 stories, the prime characters in one story, and the rest of the cast in their own. It's pretty much like that already." I mean, yeah, I know, Leon. I know you really want Yamcha to shine, but um, yeah, it's like I said, it's an issue. It's a real issue, and I don't really know how you can do it. I think something like Tournament of Power was probably a good idea. Also, like something like say One Piece, where you make the other characters can do things that aren't necessarily fighting related. So they're, or you know, like they're maybe there as like the moral support, or the like. You know, they can do other things maybe, or you know, you could also do the everyone has mini bosses and everyone fights the mini bosses. But obviously, you shouldn't do that too often because then it's just going to get too obvious. So, sorry. Person who I can't read your name, says GT and Super have one problem in common. They both try to be an adventure show and a fighting show at the same time. Toei's writers should look at both and find the flaws and fix them. Honestly, I kind of disagree because I think the Dragon Ball and even in some points Dragon Ball Z were also both adventure and fighting at the same time. Something like the Red Ribbon Army, I think, did a very good job of sort of putting both of them in because sometimes you had interesting fights or fights I wish were more interesting, but they still had the adventure aspect in there. I think it's actually quite easy to implement the two together, but I guess they're just not good at it, I guess. I think it's like, see, adventure shows, I feel like the tension sort of comes from different areas than if it's just pure fighting. But I think when you have a story, like, basically like a general, like, big anime movie formula, where you have an adventure, and then in the climax of the adventure, it's resolved with a fight. I think that's fun. I think that's a really good way to implement it too. And they don't really do that besides in some movies, and not even the Dragon Ball movies. Yeah, okay, yeah, here we go. Amari Daniels is somebody who says hello and isn't staying because Game of Thrones is starting soon. Yeah, this is why. Oh god, I'm talking for too much because my throat is sort of hurting now. I have water. You know, you gotta stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, guys. Stay hydrated, everyone. Yeah, I was gonna say, right, that's why I did this. I was gonna do the stream later, but then actually I was gonna start the stream about now, but then I found that Game of Thrones started, so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it a little bit early. Like it's quite early. Like I only woke up like a few hours ago, so it's like it's sort of like a very early morning stream, but whatever. I mean, Game of Thrones is starting now, and I guess we'll see who's gonna leave for Game of Thrones, and that's fine. You can leave for Game of Thrones, but by the time you've all probably see this, Game of Thrones has probably started already. But never mind. Uh, Server Tower Gaming says there's no way God won't stick around because God Form and Vegeta will sell metric tons of toys. Yeah, I'll be honest. Every time I see a God Vegeta toy, I'm kind of like sad because I'm like, this didn't even need to exist. Like, the story doesn't even really. He didn't need to have Super Saiyan God. Like they skipped out on that in Resurrection F. I felt like for a reason. So why are you bringing it back? It just feels so unnecessary. Robo P says I'm from Sydney, Australia as well. Oh, okay. Not from CBD Sydney, more like Northern Beaches. Well, that's cool. It's cool to see fellow Sydney people. It's very cool. Henry Xenoverse says hi, says sup, and hello. Hello, Henry Xenoverse. Sean Wilson says, Gabby Gang, I watch your DBZA reactions a lot. Nice to see younger DBZ fans. I mean, I'm not that young. I'm 24. It's not that young anymore, but, like, I guess so. It's, like, I mean, I still probably would have watched DBZ as a kid, maybe. It's just the situation I just didn't. And then I watched it later. And then for some reason I got emotionally invested in it. And now I have, like, a Dragon Ball Z shrine everywhere. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, everyone's saying there's about a 20-minute delay, which obviously kind of sucks, but oh well, it sucks. It sucks. Robert P says, any interest in Mario Maker 2? Maybe. I'll be honest, I actually bought Mario Maker 1 on the Wii U, and I kind of regret it because I didn't play it nearly as much as I maybe could have. It was my cousin was the one who'd been like, you should get Mario Maker, you should get Mario Maker, and I'm like, okay, fine, but I kind of regret it. I guess I could play Mario Maker 2. I guess it depends what other kinds of features they end up putting in it. Like it was fun, but like I don't think I think I'm more of a 3D Mario fan than a 2D Mario fan. So I'm not sure. Yep. Sam Demodi says gamers. I don't believe they exist. What's a gamer? Gamers aren't real. No way. Aladdin Jin is saying 146 here. Better hit the hay. All right, cool. Good night. Have a good night. Orange Hat Reviews asking about the Vic Mignogna situation. I think it has gone completely out of control, or at least it was. I haven't seen much in terms of people on social media going crazy about it recently, so that's good. Obviously, the lawsuit is the lawsuit, and I think in terms of what's going on with Vic Mignogna right now, we should leave it to the lawsuit and not try to play our own lawyers and try to, talk about the lawsuit, influence the lawsuit. I mean, that's literally obstruction of justice. Right now, it's up to the courts to really decide exactly what's going on. Like, you can have your own views, but, like, unless you're part of the jury, that's got nothing, like, you can't do anything about it, and you shouldn't do anything about it, because it's none of your business, really. Obviously, I think, I wish that it shouldn't have really ended like this at all. I think there is a lot of people acting very shady about this, but and a lot of people also really abusing this for their own ends, and people acting just really horrible to other people because of Vic Mignogna, and it's very weird. I don't know why people got so passionate about some of these things, but I think what we need to do right now is just leave it up to the legal system and not get involved anymore. Sam Demodi says, "Do you have any interest in Transformers? The movie's not hot trash, but there've been some really good cartoons and comics." I don't know, not really. I feel like, well, I'll be honest, when I was a kid, I always thought that the Transformers toys were really cool, but like at the same time, I don't really like cars and robots that much. So I just liked the whole transforming aspect of it. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. So, um, it's never really been a thing I was thinking about getting into, but I don't know. Maybe I'll add it to my list if somebody has any really good Transformers stuff. I don't know. So we're talking about Broly a lot. Why don't we talk about Broly and Shirai's future children? No, no, we don't need to have children. Just because there's a female character does not mean that Broly needs to have children with her. Okay, okay. I mean, we can't do that, but we don't need to, right? Right? Because then it just feels like the only reason that Sheila is there is so Broly can have kids, and the only reason that Broly needs to have kids is so then they'll be super strong because they'll have like extra strong Saiyan genes. And like, let's not be eugenics about Dragon Ball. You know, let's not talk about like genetics. Let's just have a story. Red hair Halo Jeff says hello, Gabby. Hello, red hair Halo Jeff. Orange Hat says Kale Broly from different universes. The Saiyans are different in different universes. Maybe their differences are because of that. Yeah, I mean, I actually don't know what this is referring to. Sean Wilson says, wow, a DBZ chat, I'm crying. I never thought I'd see the day. I'm 31, lol. Well, my friend, there are a lot of Dragon Ball YouTubers. Perhaps you should try and find some of them. They talk about Dragon Ball as well, not just me. I just also talk about Dragon Ball as well because reasons. But there's a lot of them. Why don't you guys watch Geekdom 101? Am I right? You guys should watch Geekdom 101, okay? And support him. Danny's my friend. Support Danny and everyone else. To be fair. Raphael is like, do you think Toriyama's background with comedy adds to his ability to write martial arts stories? Because comedy deals with the unpredictability for the punch of the joke to work. That's true. Oh man, Raphael, can you just make videos? Okay, you just have like giant thesis statements that could basically just be YouTube videos in of themselves. Okay, it's a waste. You've just got all these ideas and you just send them as comments to me. But no, that's true. Like that actually does make a lot of sense because comedy is all about unpredictability and like that surprise. Oh god, I did it. I remember I did this course once at uni, and it was all about comedy, and it was talking about like there's like Freud, Sigmund Freud, like the psychoanalysis guy. He wrote a book about comedy, and he's basically saying that it's sort of like you get a surprise, that sort of weird surprise, and that surprise sort of like that sort of feeling of surprise kind of comes out in laughter. It was surprisingly interesting. I probably have it somewhere. There's like he had like a whole thesis on like how comedy works. It was really interesting, honestly, and I think he would probably agree with you there. Leon's like, yeah, you caught me. But honestly, I wish they would just leave Yonder in something at the end rather than the state Toriyama seems content to leave him in. Oh, Leon, you could power you could power a city just on your Yamcha salt alone, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Listen, my Gohan salt is probably pretty big as well. It's just not as big as it might be because of the whole he was in the tournament of power, and I liked him there. But oh man, you guys. Kashawn Bennett said, "Hey, how are you doing?" Hey, Kashawn Bennett, I'm doing pretty well. Mike says the new adventure show I've kind of gotten into is Seven Deadly Sins. Would totally recommend, by the way. Right, I have heard that one before. I guess I'll see who's streaming it. Maybe Crunchyroll has it. I mean, right now, what I want to watch next is Ojamaru Doremi, which is a magical girl show about little witches, and it's very cute. And it also has character designs by Yoshihiko Umakoshi, who is like cool, and he did designs for the character designs for my favorite Pretty Cure season. He also did them for My Hero Academia. He was also animating in Dragon Ball Super Broly. Also, the other cool thing about Ujimata Doremi is it's directed by Junichi Sato, who did Some Things in Sailor Moon and also Princess Tutu, and also my favorite Pretty Cure season as well. Well, what? Yeah. Hakuto and Hardcatch are both my favorites. So it's basically just got like all this talent behind it of people who I really liked their other stuff. So I want to watch Doremi. Sorry, I'm a weeb who likes magical girls. Kishone's like, I'm gonna name my son Jiren. I mean, could you imagine how many like Gohans and Vegetas and maybe Gokus there are in the world? I know there are Gohans because there's been like, I swear people were like posting things on like the Dragon Ball Z subreddit and they're like, oh, I named my son Gohan, look. And you're like, poor kid. Like, Gohan's cool, but I would not name my kid after him. Kronos. Kronos said I was gonna watch Game of Thrones, so someone would be able to watch it. Like, no, watch it. Watch Game of Thrones. You can watch Game of Thrones. You can leave. It's fine. It's okay. I don't need to watch Game of Thrones either. Yeah, everyone's going to Game of Thrones, I think. Cool. Everyone go watch Game of Thrones if you want. It's fine. I can stop the stream eventually anyway. It's like been about an hour and a half, right? Right? Almost an hour and a half. Yeah. Raphael says, have you watched the Smash Bros documentary? No, I have not. I did not know there was a Smash Bros documentary. It's about esports? Is it about Melee? I don't know. Just tell me about it. Oh yeah, right, the 15-minute direct on Mario Maker 2. I never watched that in the end. I just saw like people's highlights of it. But I should maybe actually watch it. I don't know. Imber Land said, just got here. Did I miss anything, Gohan? We talked a bit, Gohan. We talked a bit other stuff as well. We talked quite a bit about Broly. Gohan's cool. He's a cool dude. Everyone, I think Gohan's the best. He's a great guy. Okay, Brandon says Transformers Prime is pretty good. And yeah, okay, so Red Hair saying get waiting for Game of Thrones. Kashawn Bennett, Broly already has a kid. It's Kale. I guess, kind of, sort of. I mean, they're not actually related, but yeah. Yeah. Remember what P says, genetics, even though we've had half humans and Saiyans. Okay, so the thing about the Saiyan, as in like, you know, the whole like, oh, because they're half Saiyan, half human, that makes them stronger. Like, it's interesting, but I also think, like, you shouldn't spend too much time, like, fixating on that. Because it's kind of gross. Because it's like, they're strong because of their genetics. Like, you know, the whole idea, I feel like, what I like about Dragon Ball is where it's just like characters are just getting stronger purely for their own sake of it. It's not because they're genetically predisposed to be powerful. It's because like they want to be stronger. Like I think that's much more inspiring than just like, you got the magic genetics. So it's like I think that's why I think sometimes I get a bit annoyed when people are like, oh, I can't wait to see how powerful Broly's kids would be. Or like say like Bra from Dragon Ball Multiverse, where she's just really strong because she's the kid of Vegeta, who's not defused. Like, honestly, I don't hate Bra, but like, you know, I hate that kind of like, oh, we've got to have really strong characters, and then they can have really strong children and even stronger children, and it's like, yeah, like it just feels like eugenics. Yeah, Orange Hat Review says, I agree with your take on the Vic situation. Been paying attention to it silently. I find court of public opinion to be very toxic. Yes, it is. It got incredibly toxic. Like, in all honesty, like, let's just say I got quite affected by it, even though it wasn't really directly involved in it. And it really, really sucked. Like, it made the fandom a very horrible place to be in for a while. Because it was just like, I don't even know why. Like, it just got so awful. Like, people were just, especially like, you know, a lot of people when they were just like making all these YouTube videos. And then they started just like, they just ended up starting like having absolutely no reason, like nothing actually involved with the Vic Mignogna situation at all. And then it was just like, somebody said a mean tweet. Oh no. Oh no. And it's like, it was just gross. Oh, what is. Now I'm getting a warning about the stream's bit rate. Use the stream bit rate of what? I thought I set the stream bit rate to 20. Hold on. Can I check the bit rate? Can I change that? Oh, it says 1500. I think because it used to be whatever. I'll tell you later, okay? I'll explain later. I'll fix this later. Okay, well, I'll add these Transformers things somewhere, because I can't look at all this stuff. Everyone's just having a nice little Transformers conversation now. Gabby, have you ever heard of Inuyasha? I have heard of Inuyasha. I mean, I've never actually... I know about it. I know that the mangaka as well, like, and she's quite famous, really. So, I mean, you know, I've never watched Inuyasha. I think that's because I haven't really heard, like, the best words about it. I've heard, like, oh, it's alright. It's decent enough. But maybe I'll add that to my list. I don't know. God, so many things to watch. Raphael, Dragon Garo Lee, Taro, yeah, Dragon Garo Lee. I like. Okay, and I mean, to be fair, Drakengara Lee also is because like the stories that he's come up with, I enjoy. Like I love the Dragon Ball Saitama crossover. I love the Yamcha manga was just so much fun. What other ones did he? Oh God, he did a I don't know. He well also in his Dragon Ball Saitama thing. You should probably know this. He did like a basically a new version of Resurrection F, but like it was cooler instead of Frieza. It was like a combination between oh, okay, that's not working. Or it is working. Never mind. It was like a combination. This whole manga, which was like it was like a mix between the first Cooler movie and Resurrection F, and it was like the best part. Also, because like, it was just like okay, it was like so Cooler comes to Earth instead of Frieza resurrected. You're like, oh, we've all got to go, and but Goku and Vegeta are still like fighting off with Whis, but it's Cooler instead of Frieza, and like the cooler gang guys are there instead of Frieza's henchmen. I mean, instead of like the 1,000 soldiers, and like the same characters are sort of there, and also Genos, who is dressed like Android 16 because reasons. But so it's it's still like One Punch Man stuff as well. But it's like it's beautiful because it's just like it's cooler, and then like we're gonna go and fight cooler, and everyone's like it's just beautiful and wholesome because all the supporting cast there are like they try to actually make them look cool as opposed to like I'll just shoot one of my signature attack one time and that's like the prerequisite of making them look cool. And then there's this beautiful part where like I think like it gets saved by like Yamcha, and then like yeah, and then Cooler does like this big attack. He's trying to like blow up the earth or whatever, and then like the first person who tries to stop him is Yamcha, and he's like, I know I'm not gonna be able to stop this thing, but like hell am I just gonna sit here and let this take over the earth without me doing anything? And then like everyone's just like that guy, and they're just like smiling and just going on trying to like push the attack back together. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of Dragon Ball fan fiction. It's beautiful. Love it. I saw some people saying love Inuyasha. Oh, I said I won't be able to watch Game of Thrones for some reason. It's not working. Oh, fair enough. I mean that makes sense. I'm sorry. For all I know, it was like maybe everything went down because everyone wants to watch Game of Thrones so much. That could happen. Like that could realistically be the case. If which case I'm sorry. But hopefully when it's like back up on streaming places, it should be okay and not go down. But it might. I don't know. Uh, Sam says, "Have you ever seen the Level 9 CPU tournament series by AlphaRad?" No. Is that Smash Brothers? That's probably Smash Brothers. I've heard of AlphaRad before, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know what exactly. All I can remember is something similar, maybe. Not really, actually. But one thing that I was watching a few weeks ago was the Runaway Guys Coliseum charity stream. There's a lot of YouTubers there who I've been following for years, and they all did that charity stream. And it was this really interesting segment, and it was called Falcon Roulette. And basically, what it was somebody had like 8 Captain Falcon amiibo, and they had all been trained up to level 50 from the amiibo things, and they all had slightly different stats. And basically, you just picked a Captain Falcon amiibo and you placed them all in. And then you basically just did a death match between the amiibos, and whoever like got out first, you got eliminated. And then like it was just so it was basically just purely a game of luck because you didn't know which Captain Falcon amiibo it was gonna be. But it was actually really funny. I could leave a link. No, I can't really leave a link to this in the video description, but you could just like search it up. I think the one there was one last year, and that's on YouTube. So if you just like search like the Runaway Guys Coliseum Falcon Roulette, it's really funny. Sean says, "I'd much rather watch you, Gabby, than Game of Thrones. Boo. Respectfully speaking." Oh well, thank you. I don't think even though Game of Thrones obviously a lot of people don't like it the way it's going, I still think it's perhaps a little bit more entertaining than I am. But thank you anyway. Yvonne Thorne says, I have watched all of DBZA, but I've yet to really watch any of the original, partially because I think it would be unbearably predictable in terms of tropes. You know what? Like, that's what I thought was going to be for me, but I really got invested in it. If you have only watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged, I suggest you do actually watch the original. Okay, the pacing can be quite bad sometimes, so maybe if you watch like Kai has separate issues, but I think overall it's a bit more watchable than watching the original, at least in English. If you want to watch it in Japanese, it's a bit of a you could do either, but I think the original is not that bad. Like especially like the pacing is an issue, but I think the story is actually like you still get invested in it, even though it's a bit cliche. I think you still get invested in it. Hmm. And Sean saying, okay. No, red hair Halo Jeff says, "What do you think they should do to have less, basically have less plot holes when Super returns?" I think no matter what they do, they're going to have plot holes, and I think honestly, I think a lot of the time, especially from when the Future Trunks arc started, I feel like they paid a lot more attention to previous continuity and previous like episodes and events in the series. Honestly, I think the people who say the Super has all these plot holes, I think it's just like I think it's a little bit exaggerated. I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. But I think maybe they should. What they do need to do is they need to have more consistency between episodes because that was an issue with the Tournament of Power, especially in like the last few episodes, where there were these situations where like they people kind of forgot the writer seemed to not realize that Frieza was supposed to be unconscious, so he'd show up to like stop for like a few minutes and then he'd be knocked out again, and that happened like at least like 3 episodes, and that was very very dumb. Okay, everyone's got buffering stuff. Damn, that sucks. But right, so the okay, everyone's just watching Game of Thrones. Oh, Leon's like, oh, I missed your card captors tweets. Can't remember if you finished the Rich on the Churro. That's true. I do need to also watch Card Captor Sakura. That's true. I mean, technically, it's shorter than watching all of Ojimata Doremi because Doremi is like 5 seasons or 4 seasons. There's the first one, and then there's Sharp, Moto, and Dokkan. I think maybe it's four, and there's another one called Night Show, which I don't know what it actually is. So maybe I don't know. I don't know. Raphael is like, would you write any new fanfics or OC stories? Honestly, I think. Well, the thing is, I think Super was giving me a lot of creativity when that stuff was happening, so it was just making me think of ideas. Haven't really had an idea for fan fiction recently, really. Although I did have this really big idea for like basically changing something different, replacing the Super 17 arc in GT with basically the Super 16 arc, and there's all these really cool ideas I have, but I don't know what the actual story would be. Just that like it's got to do with like 16, Pan and Gohan, Boma, and everybody dealing with the aftermath of the effects of the fact that like they did all this horrible stuff while after under baby's mind control. I really want to do it because like some of it makes so much sense because like I'm just like this would make so much sense. Like we'll do a Super Six. It was basically when in the Super 17 arc where they're like, oh, 17 was supposed to be even stronger than Cell, and I was like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But 16, I could believe that he was going to be originally stronger than Cell because like he was basically saying around the stuff that he was like this experimental thing, and it was like he was scared he was going to destroy the planet, and then all this stuff about like the fact that even though he was made from nothing, he went back. Giro went back to using a human model after 16, making it think that like 16 was technically easier and more efficient to make, but there was something about it that he couldn't, that like he didn't like. I think that that is really interesting as a story idea. I love Cloud Kappa Sakura and Princess Tutu. Yeah, Princess Tutu is great. Is great. Hold on. I mean, I haven't actually watched it, but I've heard it's good. I'm sorry, I need to hide people's spam comments. Yeah, no, yeah, Princess Tutu is great. Junichi Sato is awesome. Um, yeah, Dragon Ball Saitama was a love letter. You can't change my mind. Why did I change your mind? It's true. Yeah, the Yamcha part is awesome. It's so wholesome. It is. Yeah, it might also help if they watch the original Dragon Ball before DBZ and Kai. Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, the original Dragon Ball. Yeah, the issue with original Dragon Ball is that is not Kai. That is still has quite slow pacing at some points. But I guess people deal with it. Like, I don't know. I don't really like so much of some of the Dragon Ball filler. And the fact is, like, see, what's weird about Dragon Ball is obviously early Dragon Ball has a very different kind of tone to what later Dragon Ball ends up becoming. It's like it's kind of a gradual shift from like when it becomes a bit it becomes a bit darker and a bit more serious and that kind of stuff. So it's it's a bit of an issue as to if you don't like Dragon Ball, like original Dragon Ball, would you like Z? Would you skip Dragon Ball? Like you shouldn't skip Dragon Ball, but early Dragon Ball is quite different to Z, and so you might like Z for different reasons to why you would even want to watch Dragon Ball in the first place. It's a very interesting dilemma, to be honest, to be completely honest. Especially like also if you're like, used to other things, more like Western shows, all of the sexual humor in early Dragon Ball is kind of a bit distasteful at some points, can kind of scare you off it. So yeah, it's an issue. I don't really know what to do. I just suggest, yeah, reading the manga is probably the best because you can get through the story quicker. And it does split it between Dragon Ball and Z because that's what Viz did, but it's less of an obvious separation. So have you been watching the new Fruits Basket? No, I didn't watch the original Fruits Basket, so I don't think I'd really watch the reboot. Maybe I would one day. I mean, I know what Fruits Basket is, but I didn't really watch that much shojo except for like Sailor Moon as a kid. Maybe Fruits. I don't know if how Fruits Basket aired, if it was on television or not. So maybe not. I'm not sure. No, Augustus, I'm not dyeing my hair blonde. Why would I do that? I don't want to dye my hair. That's like I like my hair. I don't want to dye it a different color. All right, goodbye, Orange Hat reviews. I'm sorry you got that storm. Yeah. Yvonne Thorne says I need to find the other omnibus collections of Cardcaptor Sakura. I only have the first two. Oh yeah, right. I don't have the manga either, to be honest. Well, I mean, obviously, I've heard that the anime is just very good because it's like not Mad, Madhouse, Madhouse in the '90s, and it was just a very good adaptation. Well, it does change things, but like it was still quite good. So maybe I'll get the manga. I don't know. I don't even. I said it's not true. I have some of the Sailor Moon manga because I was getting. I didn't know when I was going to get it, but then that new Eternal edition came out and it looks so good, so I bought the first one. So maybe I'll get more. I don't know. Oh god. Oh jeez. Okay, hang on. Let me stay hydrated a little bit more. Mm. You were here to hear me drink a bottle of water. It's very important. Anyway, I probably might get something to eat. This was only supposed to be an internet test stream. Actually, before that, I wanted you guys to know. So apparently you guys it was buffering for a few points. So how bad was it? Was it bearable? And I mean, if it's not in like. If you guys could tweet at me as well, maybe later on, so I can, if you want to talk about it more, as opposed to outside this random chat thing, because like I said, this was an internet stream. This was to see if my internet can do a live stream. So I just want to see how well this held up, and maybe after that I'll close it and get something to eat and see how everyone is going. Not the power, not anything, but the power scaling. One thing hard about recommending people to Dragon Ball is not much having trust in the Z dubs. Kai is much closer to the manga, but some of that filler is the best, and DB is some of the same issues. Yeah, Kai is like that because yeah, there is like it does skip out like the Gohan filler, which obviously some of that's really good, and the trading for the Saiyans filler is good. But like, at least it skips out Garlic Jr. Wait, no, you like Garlic Jr. because Garlic Jr. doesn't have Goku save the day. What am I talking about? Steven Scott says, "Do you enjoy Dragon Ball Heroes?" No, it feels very cheap and lazy and boring, and it's only 7 minutes and there's basically no plot. I don't like Heroes. it's it's almost like a self-parody of what people like about Dragon Ball. I think it's kind of gross. TBH. Okay, here we go. Good, we're getting... Okay, so they're saying... Alright, I feel some of the censored dialogue recording in the Nicktoons airing of Kai sounds a bit more natural than the uncensored dub. Huh. Interesting. I haven't actually watched the censored dub, except for that one thing where it has that episode when Vegeta's fighting 18 and then like he blows up a truck and then the truck driver says like, I'm okay, and they're just like, bull. No, I call bull. That guy's definitely dead. Like, why is that line in there? And turns out it was originally there for like the Nicktoons version and they accidentally put it in the uncut version. They kept it in there. So it was like, oh, weird. But like, yeah, besides that, I don't know. I don't really know much about the censored stuff. Alright, let's see. Okay. Feel like alright, it's bearable. It was bearable, but the video was stuttering a lot, so that was not important this time. Might be a problem later. Yeah, because I get lots of dropped frames according to this. That's probably why. It stops a few times, but it's tolerable. By the way, call me Andy. Okay, well, thanks for reminding me, Andy Nidrimzello. Buffering to bearable. Okay. Can you... No, I'm not talking an American accent. No. Hello, Miss Fox. How do you do? I'm alright. I think Dragon Ball Heroes captures everything I really wanted out of Dragon Ball. I really hope that was the focus of the future. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I just told you that your taste looks bad. I'm sorry. I don't really like Dragon Ball Heroes direction. Like, some of it's interesting, but then even the interesting ideas are just so cheap and quick and like barely animated. It's just kind of like sad. So, yeah. Oh, right, the draft. Yeah. Okay, Super Steps asking about my reaction to Dragon Ball Heroes. Like, in all honesty, at one point I was thinking about almost like doing a reaction, but then like, I kind of didn't want to just because like I feel like my reaction for me would just be a lot of eye rolling and a lot of like being very negative about it. And I think people wouldn't really react very well to it. Like, obviously, some people do, just like Dragon Ball Heroes, but they don't really want to see a reaction video where you're just like, being really like condescending about it the entire time. But yeah, I probably was a lot of really like, oh, of course, it's the magical attack of the giant shard of the glass. Look at it. How interesting is this? It's a great story. A great story. Okay, so people are saying the buffing is buffing. The buffering is bearable, but okay, that's good. And I'm glad that this stream is actually worked out quite well, considering it was very impromptu. I didn't really have much of a plan. But I think I actually sometimes I feel like I need to have more confidence, right? I am actually surprisingly good at talking for ages about kind of nothing. Or like just a single show. Or whatever. I don't know. Garlic Jr. arc was in a way a prototype to the baby arc. They had to deal with their friends being turned enemy and they didn't want to hurt them and the threat of being bitten. I guess so. Yeah. I think this is the point I also need to tell everyone I haven't watched the Garlic Jr. arc. Don't kill me, please. Okay, so Andy saying to this day, I think Hero's Legacy is still a masterpiece, and I really wish they made a sequel to that with older Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. exploring the universe. Well, I mean, I do, I think there's a lot of stuff in Hero's Legacy that I think is quite interesting. I think it's a little bit, I sometimes wish it was a little bit subtler, a little bit more subtle with the kind of themes and what it was trying to do, but I think it's alright. I think my issue is I don't really like Vegeta Jr. just because I think, first of all, I think his character design is very uncreative. Like with Goku Jr., it is as well, kind of as well, but at least he has different eyes, At least he has different eyes. And Vegeta Jr. basically just looks like Vegeta, but small, and it's just kind of like, why? Also, I don't know what his personality is, but I mean, yeah, Dragon Ball a new Dragon Ball generation I think is really interesting, but I think what I'd be really interested in is also, if they want to do a Dragon Ball Next Generation story, is to kind of have the characters not necessarily be related to Goku. have them just be characters who are also maybe they want to be stronger or they want to be better or whatever, and then they just like kind of get Goku's legacy, not necessarily being related to him. I think that's really interesting. Basically, I want to do the Last Jedi of Dragon Ball. I know a lot of people don't like the Last Jedi, but I enjoyed the story of the Last Jedi where you can be important even if you're not related to Luke Skywalker. I think that was really interesting. Why can't they give up Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? Well, considering they gave us Super Saiyan God Vegeta, I wouldn't be surprised if one day they're gonna do Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. But then again, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is so 2012, am I right? Because you know how, wasn't it Raging Blast 2? They did Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta in the game. And then there was a figure, I think, a Dragon Ball Heroes figure, where you could buy Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta figure. So in a way, I think it's sort of been done already, just not in the show, because the show doesn't need to, because Super Saiyan 3 is a form that we don't need anymore, because we have forms that are stronger and better than it. Mike's like, it's almost like we watch you because you have nice things to say or something. Aw, thanks. Raphael's like, of course you're good at talking about a single show. Imagine if someone asked about Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. Okay, and he's like, I wrote a 215-page story of Dragon Ball Next Gen. Yes, really. Wow. That's pretty cool. Like, it's I think it's difficult. It's a very difficult thing to say to do. Because you need to make sure that it's not too pandering. It's not just like the same things that we've seen over and over and over again. You want to make it feel like it's unique enough to be its own story. At the same time, also feeling like there's a reason for it to exist, and also like making the characters interesting as well. Because if like let's put it this way, if you make a character with their soul defining traits being like, oh, they're not like Goku really, they're not too much like Goku, then like what's their defining traits? What's you can't define a character by what they're not. You have to define a character by what they are. You know? Okay, Leon's like, the one thing I hate most about Goku Vegeta Jr. is their name's Goku Vegeta Jr. That's also true. Like, okay, at least, GT, I mean, at least the epilogue didn't name Jr. as Vegeta Jr. They're just like, hey, it's a kid that looks like Vegeta. Thank God. But yeah, Vegeta Jr. is just like, ugh. Goku Jr. It was sort of like I gave you the name Goku because I want you to be like Goku. That was alright, but yeah, it's an issue. It's quite lazy. I think that's the thing. Uh, Crap, I forgot how you pronounce your name. What was like Showing or something? Showing. So I hope they don't change Ray's story for episode 9. At all points they'll do that though with the Emperor returning. Yeah, I know, right? It's like I mean, I don't exactly understand a lot of the hate that The Last Jedi got. I understand a little bit of it. Obviously, there were some bits of the movie that felt a little bit sloppy, but like the central themes behind it, I thought were all really strong. I don't know why they would say, actually, lol, just joking. We're not going to have that be the underlying theme of the trilogy. It's just gonna be the Emperor Palpatine is back or something. And that seems so awful. Like I don't really want that. Like to be fair, I'm not really a big Star Wars fan. I'm more of a casual, so maybe you could say I'm not qualified to be able to say stuff like this. But I really enjoyed The Last Jedi being basically like, anyone can be a Jedi, anyone can understand the Force. It's not some hereditary thing from the Skywalkers. I hope they don't start saying that it's got to do with the Skywalkers all the time. I do hope that like I'm interested in it. Like I like Rey, and I think Kylo Ren is fascinating. In a way, I feel like Kylo Ren is actually more deep than Darth Vader is. And then you've got like, I mean, Poe doesn't really have much yet to him, but he's all right. And I like Finn as well. Finn's just like he's just like a teddy bear. He's great. I just want to hug him. I don't want to actually maybe not hug him, but he's nice. But personally, I like listening to your reactions because they focus on character development and interaction. It doesn't really matter to me what a person's overall view on the topic is. Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, fair enough then. Alright, that's about heroes, right? Well, it's just more like I think other people would really would people not wouldn't like it. Then they'd be like, "Why are you even watching this show if you hate it so much?" You know, and I don't like getting hate comments, and like also I don't really unless like I don't know. I wouldn't find it entertaining for me to watch my own reaction when I'm just sitting there being disinterested the whole time. Right. Okay, I started writing that way before Battle of Gods was announced. Toriyama steals a lot of ideas from me, like the multiverse. Listen, okay, I wrote an Avatar next Avatar story before the Legend of Korra was announced years ago, and I was like, they stole my fan fiction idea from my brain, but it wasn't like the Legend of Korra much at all, except for like the whole more technology involved, and the Avatar was a girl. That's basically the only similarities. Yeah, basically. Augustus like, do you miss Saiyan Tales? Because I do. In some ways. I mean, it was fun in GT, but like, I feel like it doesn't. It's not really as cool for like adults. I think for like the kid, like for like characters that are sort of kid-ish and monkey-like, it's nice. But I think for adults, like Vegeta, it's I don't know. It feels like it doesn't really fit. It's probably why they always have their tails wrapped around their waists. Dragon Ball Kame has been a fun next year animation story on the kids, but it's hard to find. Isn't that the one where like everyone gets brutally murdered? Dragon Ball Kame? I saw somebody read it on Twitter. Isn't that one? Because that one's kind of gross. They just like everyone just gets killed, and it's like, why are you doing this? What the hell? Palpatine is the Skywalker. Lols. Oh my god, they could totally do that, and I'd hate it. What is the Emperor really? Maybe it was all a master. The Emperor isn't just an evil guy, he's also Anakin's long lost uncle. Totally. Uh, Jonah Morgan says, so smart and genuine. I dig it so much. Thank you. And Mac Vinley Super Saiyan God says, nice to see you on. I really like your content. Also, thanks. Ellie95FO says, I find it hard to get excited for Star Wars now. I liked Force Awakens a lot, but Rogue One was bleh. Last Jedi was okayish, I guess. I don't even care to be asked to watch Han Solo. I don't care. Oh yeah, no, I didn't watch Han Solo either. I don't remember if I watched Rogue One at the movies or not. I think I might have, but I mean, I didn't really care. I think basically they realized that the spin off thing was not a good idea. Maybe it was just like that kind of franchise fatigue thing. The idea that there was always a Star Wars movie, but you're like, maybe I don't want to see Star Wars every year. That's just a bit too much Star Wars. So I'm kind of glad that they've stopped doing those. Now I'm just suddenly realizing if Pokemon was going to do something like that, like I think I'd be very happy if they did more Pokemon movies, but they didn't come out every year, like the live action Pokemon movies. I mean, the Pokemon. Wait, the Pokemon cinema. I think I accidentally turned my thing on my headphones to mute. The Pokemon cinematic universe, that kind of thing. So I because like I don't want to get franchise fatigue from Pokemon movies either. Like I mean I think the Pokemon anime movies also have the issue of having have to have one every year. So I don't know. Raphael's my live action Dragon Ball movie would be a single movie about an aging, not prime Goku. I take the Luke Skywalker approach, starring Jackie Chan as the Monkey King himself. Cause yes, okay, I would totally be down for Jackie Chan in a Dragon Ball movie. Shit, that would actually be awesome. Yeah. Oh, I don't want cloning to be set a bad precedent. If they bring back the Emperor that way, death is cheap given how Vader and Luke defeated him. That is definitely true. Okay, like, it'd be like a superhero movie, like, no, he's not dead because he made a clone of him. Like, if you're gonna talk about cloning, at least have it be a story like, oh, so I'm a clone, so am I the original or am I just a copy? What am I really? Who am I? Like, that'd be fun. But, like, you can only really do that, like, once or twice. Uh, hold on. Eunice Layachi says, "Yo, I've been disconnected from everyone since Dragon Ball Super. Connected from Dragon Ball since Super ended. Well, yeah. That's because there hasn't really been that much new content. Like, that's also been the reason why I haven't been making as many videos. There's just not much to talk about in terms of Dragon Ball. Like, the biggest discussion is when are they going to announce the new Super, which is totally happening. And the question is just when, not what is it about or who is involved. Although, I mean, or like what the story is. Just want to see the key visual. Toei, please just give it to me. The fandom is starving. Excuse me. We're starving. Please just give it to us. Just call me Curtisillo too. Says hello everyone. Hi Gabby, love your content. Well, thank you, and thank you for joining in the stream. Martin Castro says the Emperor is the one who killed Jiren's village in Konoha. Oh yes, why did you do it? To test my ability. Yep, definitely. That's the ability as a Sith, right? You must also kill your friends. That way you can become the most powerful Sith Lord in all of Konoha and get the Mangenkyo Sharingan. Isn't that right? Leon's like, Dragon Ball Multiverse gets very brutal. Okay, I need to compare. Alright, so the thing about Dragon Ball Kame is you're not expecting the characters to start dying, and then they do it. Like, it sounds like it's gonna be this nice, fun sort of slice of sort of Dragon Ball Next Generation, and then everyone starts dying, and it's like, what the fuck? Now, isn't that the one where Pan gets the power out that makes her go bald? That's totally the one, isn't it? Yeah, that's totally the one. Oh god, it's so weird. Okay, Dragon Ball would not necessarily be better with Madhouse. Also, a lot of the talent that made Madhouse good aren't there anymore. Should probably start saying Studio Bones now. Have people started saying that? I don't know. Oh god, I'm getting really hungry. Honestly, I'm getting really hungry. So I'm gonna read the last few messages and end this stream off. So, but yeah, and it's been 2 hours. So I think 2 hours is a pretty good time for a stream that's literally just me talking to my computer and answering questions that people are typing on the chat. I think that's pretty good. I think I am very proud of myself for lasting for that long. Okay, Oh, you called me Ellie. I'm hurt. Everyone calls me that. They can't read my name. What? Oh, is it Eli? Crap. It's Eli, isn't it? It's totally Eli. I'm sorry. Okay. Crap. Theon's like, the death in Kame serves the purposes it didn't see with getting certain people in the other world for reasons. Like, okay, but alright. Okay, but like, but why though? Like, why do you need to make it so brutal? Like, just make them die off screen if I don't know. To be fair, I didn't actually watch it. I just saw somebody tweet about it. Okay, alright, I was muted for a second. I said I don't follow it anymore, but I forgot I'm keeping up with Dragon Ball Multiverse the moment it comes out. I remember you picked up Smash a while ago. Did you still play it? I haven't really been playing that much Smash lately, actually. What I did was I recently bought Okami on the eShop, and I was playing Okami, and that was actually quite fun. I was playing the HD re-release version. It was on Switch, so I was feeling that. I really enjoyed Okami. It was a fun game. Okay, all right, here we go. The good old branching out reactions. No, I am not doing any reactions to anything that's not Dragon Ball Z Abridged, most likely. I don't really enjoy doing reactions that much anymore. It's just, especially if it's for things that I don't really know very much about. It feels like I'm kind of sort of going into a place and I don't really feel like I'm very qualified to do them reactions. Dragon Ball Z Abridged, I feel qualified to talk about Dragon Ball Z Abridged because I know it very well. Also, doing reactions to actual anime and manga is kind of semi-piracy, so I don't really want to pirate things, you know? Like, during DBZA, it's fine because they're mostly okay with it. I mean, I don't monetize it, but they're mostly okay with it as long as I don't monetize it and whatnot. So, yeah, no, that's why. Okay, Star Wars. Star Wars historically creates contrivances justified through the concept of the Force. Okay. Interesting. The Force controls people. Become a Yu Yu Hakusho tuber. No, okay, no. You know who needs to become a Yu Yu Hakusho tuber? Corman's Land or Detective Q, or I forgot what his username is now, but he's not on Twitter anymore. But I'm gonna tell Quinn that he needs to be a Yu Yu Hakusho tuber. What if Goku landed on Konoha and it was sealed inside Naruto as an Uzaru? We already have that. It's the Four Tails. The Four Tails is just a Journey to the West / Goku reference. The Four Tails is literally called Son Goku Augustus. He's literally called Son Goku. So that already happened. Oh, hot take thoughts about Avengers Endgame. It was fun. I like the fact that we had a big budget, essentially time travel movie. Like we haven't had time travel movies for ages. Like Back to the Future. It's beautiful. I loved it. Fun jokes. I'm not really invested much in some of the characters, so I didn't really care a lot for some of the big moments at the end. And I feel like Thanos, like in Endgame, was quite disappointing. But besides that, and like I think the fight scenes with Thanos was kind of disappointing. But besides that, it was fine. It was fun. Whoa, whoa, and got a really long thing. Sorry, I'm just reading your three paragraph long thing. Yeah, I hope episode nine's good. I hope it doesn't go too. I hope it does keep that route that Last Jedi did. Mm. Yeah, right. Okay. I think that's yeah. That's basically just one more thing that saying Celestial Drive saying the Madhouse ran on contract animators. And that made that okay. There we go. Somebody who knows about the One Punch Man Sakuga situation, right? Right. And he's saying, I'm or she, he or she, I'm here mostly for the in-depth analysis and to be honest, watch the reactions mostly for the after episode breakdowns. Yay! I love it when people like the part where I just go around and start talking. I like the idea that people like to hear me talk about things. It makes me feel like I have purpose. You know, if you want to be a YouTuber, the advantage of being a YouTuber is you can say anything and everyone actually cares about what you have to say. It's like having more friends. It's like having thousands of friends every day and some of them might be annoying, but like the others are like legitimately interesting, and they're legitimately interested in you. I think it is a great situation. Speaking of that, I guess I should probably come up with video ideas. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Anyway, have fun, everybody. I hope you I hope you all have a good day, and everyone who watched Game of Thrones, I hope it ended well. I guess I'll see what everyone's tweeting about. And yeah, hope you guys have fun, and see ya.